Hello everyone, my name is Cap, and Alpha 16 is finally here, at least for PC players. It's under an experimental build right now, but it'll be stable before too long. Now for console players, I'm sorry, I have no idea when this is going to hit you guys, hopefully sooner before later. But anyway, welcome to Alpha 16. I'm going to do some tutorials to show you guys some of the stuff that was added, and one of the most exciting things I have to show you guys is electricity. This has been involved in some of the mods for a little while, but now it's an official part of the game. So I'm going to try and break this up into probably more than one video, because I know a lot of people don't like the really lengthy ones. So I'm going to do an introduction here to electricity, how to generate power, how to actually connect it, and switches and things like that, and then a little bit more of the advanced stuff and maybe in a different video, and try and get them out a little bit sooner so you guys can learn as much as you possibly can. Now, of course, I'm not an expert, still learning this, so if I get something wrong or they change something in a future version, do let me know in the comments, and I'm always trying to improve. But there's three different kinds of generators now. There's a battery bank, a generator bank, and a solar bank. Now, all of these require a lot of effort to be able to make them here. You need a workbench in order to be able to make any of the banks, the battery bank or the generator bank. Both of those require a bunch of different kinds of options here. You got to have different kinds of perks for each one of these kinds of setup here, so there's a lot going on just to be able to use these, but to be able to craft them, you make them here. The solar banks themselves, you can either find them or buy them. As far as I know right now, there's not a way to make these. I have yet to be able to find out a way. But each one of them has a different way to output power. And if you happen to find a Trader Joel's or a trading post anywhere, you can actually buy the different kinds of generators. You can buy the generator bank here, or if you go under the secret stash in some of these, you can sometimes even find the solar banks and solar arrays to go with them, or just the regular battery banks. So you can actually buy these if you're not able to craft them. They're not really that expensive if you start breaking down a lot of stuff. So we're going to start off with the battery bank. This is the smallest of the ones there that you can craft. And inside of this, you can see it shows how much max output power you have here. And it's got 6 different slots for car batteries. Now, the more batteries you put in this, the more maximum output it can put on there. And the higher the quality of the battery you put in there, the more output it can possibly do. I don't know what the max is because I haven't put an array of max batteries in there. But you can see that all you have to do is just have 6 batteries in there. You can turn it on and it outputs power. That's the way it works out. It's quiet because it works like car batteries. Now for the generator bank, this one works a little bit differently, but kind of similarly, except for this one you use the small engines, which you can find in different kinds of shops, or you can buy them or scrap them from cars. And the same thing with like the batteries. The more you have in here, the more output it can put out, and the higher quality of the engine, the more power it can put out. But this one you also have to have fuel. It can hold up to 1,000 gallons in here. And then you turn it on and it does actually make some noise. Now I have not done extensive testing to see how much noise it generates as far as like attracting other zombies. But it does have a fuel source, so it'll burn down eventually, but it does put out a lot more total output of power than the battery bank. Now, as I was saying, with these solar banks, you can't actually craft these, you can buy them. And then what you can do is you can buy these solar cells, and the more solar cells, just like the rest of them, the more power output it can possibly store here. And all you have to do is just turn it on, and it stores the power that it gets from the sun during the daylight so that it can continue to power on at night while it's there, and of course it's completely silent. Now I don't know for sure if the solar cells degrade over time or if they just stay at a constant here. I haven't tested it long distance to see how much these solar cells will actually work with it as far as like over time if they slowly start to degrade. But you can see that maximum power is about 102 watts. It's solar power, so it doesn't put out a ton of power like the small engines, but it would work really good for doing lighting. Okay, once you have your banks actually set up here, what you have to have next to do any kind of electrical stuff is a wire tool. Now you can get this the same way you do the rest of them on the workbench, and you can see that it requires forged steel and mechanical parts to use it, and there's a skill you have to learn to be able to make the wire tool under the electrical skills. But once you have it in hand, what you have to do is just go up to whatever power source you want to. We'll choose the battery bank, and I'll go ahead and turn it on. And then with it in hand, all you have to do is just right click it. You'll see it get a little bit of a spark there to let you know it's on, and then you drag it to whichever kind of device you want to power. And now it has a maximum distance. I don't know exactly how far it goes. Okay, so it goes about that far before it turns red and lets you know. And then all you have to do is just right click on the device you want it to power, and you'll see that it has this flowing line of power source here as long as the power tool or the wire tool is in your hand. If you de-equip it, it's just like normal here, but while you have it equipped, you can see which ways the power is going. and then it'll show you exactly how much power it's getting. See, it's getting 5 watts from these to be able to power these spotlights, which is now something else they changed too. These mobile spotlights that you used to be able to craft and just ran indefinitely, now they require a power source here. But that's all you have to do to connect with the wire tool. And if you want to disconnect it within hand, just left click it and it'll get rid of it. And the next little bit when it comes down to wiring here, there's 2 different things you can use here. You can do an electric wire relay, or just a switch. Now we'll start with the electric wire relay. Now you can make this on the workbench just like everything else. The relay and the switch are both made on the bench. But what the relay does is allows you to extend how far your power can go out. So let's stick it right over here. And then you use your wire tool, connect it to the battery bank, connect it to the relay, and you'll see that it's going to the relay, and now I can connect it from here and extend even further on. So if you remember last time, it showed how the minimum distance or the maximum distance I could go was about to where that relay was. So now then I can extend it. And same thing works if you want to go ahead and just connect it back to this. And now you see it's got a flow of power all the way through that. So that's what these relays do, is it just allows you to repeat the power and extend it a little bit further. And the light switch works exactly like you think it would. It's just an on-off switch basically. So once you have your power source going to where you want to, you can, let's get a wire going from the power here to the actual light switch itself. And you can see it's kind of glitching through the ground right now, but it's not a big deal. And then you can right click from the switch to the actual device itself. And now you have a power source here. So now when you flip the switch on, it turns the light on and off here, and that will allow you obviously to be able to control things, so you get it all wired in, and you can put a nice little light switch on there in order to be able to make it a lot easier to do instead of having to disconnect and turn on cables all the time. So that'll be really cool for your lighting sources you want to have at night. Set up a big giant solar bank array all the way around your house, get it charged throughout the day, and then at night flip the switch and light up the area. So that really about covers it here. I'm going to keep it really simple. Like I said, in the next video, I'll get a little bit more detailed with pressure plates and motion sensors and trip wires, and eventually we can do some more traps and stuff. But this is the basics of how electricity works. You got your 3 different kinds of banks. You got your wiring you can set up. You can set up relays, switches, and power it onto different electric devices, which there are now a ton of them in the game as well. So like I said, trying to keep this as short and simple as possible. Hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section down below, and I'll answer it as quick as I can. If you found the video useful, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, because I truly do appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Thank you guys so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.